everybody, it's Leela from Miss Kiss Creations. Thanks for joining. Today I'm wanting to show you how to do a Galaxy style tumbler. I'm sure you've seen plenty of Galaxy style tumblers. This is the way that I personally like my Galaxy style. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all of the materials and then we will go ahead and get started. For anybody who's wanting to just speed this process up, I won't be doing any cutting out or fast forwarding. I want to do start from finish just in case there's any beginners watching. Beginners watching, so there's not going to be any edits on this video. It's going to be completely recorded and then posted. So what you'll need is you're going to need a 20 ounce, or sorry, a stainless steel tumbler. This is double walled. You're going to be needing epoxy. The epoxy that I'm using today, it's Amazing Clear Cast. You can get this size at Walmart, or not at Walmart, sorry, at Amazon. I did purchase this off Amazon, or you can get the gallon size ones. I did get this from their website, and it has a pump. So it's completely up to you. There's so many epoxy brands out there. Please do your research and search. I've been using Amazing Clear Cast. So far it's worked for me, so I don't really want to change it. So what I sprayed with my cup is I sprayed spray paint, and what I use is the Rustoleum brand, and it is white, and it's the Paint Plus Primer. You just want a matte white spray paint. Any brand works. I prefer it to be matte. This helps the epoxy stick on the tumbler. I am using alcohol inks to achieve this design. I have alcohol pearl. This has kind of a shimmer on here. It is from Holts. It's Intrigue. I don't know if you're able to see that, but this color is Intrigue. It's you can probably use a wild plum. They also have a wild plum, and it's not alcohol pearl. It's actually alcohol ink. And then I'm using the alcohol ink. It's purple Twilight from Holts, purple Twilight. And then I'm using the pitch black from Holts. I did purchase all of these from Michael's. You can also purchase them from Amazon or eBay or Joann's. So again, it is Holts. And I do like some sparkle on my Galaxy tumbler. So today I'm using Glitter Heart Company brand Merlot, and it's kind of the same color as the alcohol ink. It is Merlot, and then I'm using by Twinkle. It's Mulberry. It's kind of a thicker glitter. And then from Kraft, I'm using the color Disco, and is a hollow silver. This kind of has a hollow tint to it as well, the Mulberry. So these are the three colors that I am using. I don't know if y'all can see that. I apologize if you can't. Those are the three colors. You're also going to be needing a heat gun. I did get this from Lowe's. They're about $12 to $20. And you're going to be needing a Dixie cup and popsicle sticks. And I'll say this every time in my videos, every time you're working with epoxy, I do recommend you wear gloves. This does protect your hands. Some people actually have to wear goggles to protect their eyes. And please be in a ventilated area while working with epoxy, because you are working with chemicals. So the only part that I skipped out on this video is how to mix the epoxy. What I did was I mixed 7.5 milliliters, each part A, then part B, and I mixed them together, making 15 milliliters of epoxy. And what I did was I stirred for about 2 to 3 minutes, and whenever my epoxy turned clear, that's whenever I knew that it was mixed. Some people say the epoxy gets hot. Maybe this brand doesn't, but the way that I tell that my epoxy is mixed properly is it turns clear from a smoky to a clear. And then since there's some bubbles in there, it's just a habit for me to hit it with the heat gun a little bit. So again, there's 15 milliliters of alcohol ink in here. And I might not use that much, but I'd rather have more left over than not enough. So my turner, or my tumbler is now on the turner, and I'm going to spread the epoxy all over the tumbler. Now you don't want it as thick as the swirl design. I know a lot of people do the swirl, including myself, the swirl design, because you don't want it to really swirl, but you don't want it as thin as the epoxy glitter method. So that's why I kind of went with the 15 milliliters. And I'll let you know if I use it all. So you want not too thick, not too thin. I know it's kind of like, well, what's too thick? You know, not too thick, not too thin, but you kind of have to just get used to it. So after I put this on here, I'm going to let this sit for just a little bit, not too much. Again, that's going to affect it by not swirling. A lot of times to get your epoxy to swirl, you're going to you're going to hit it with a lot of heat and then it will move it around. So you don't want the epoxy to move too much. So I am just covering my tumbler from top to bottom. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason how to apply your epoxy. Some people say there is. I've done it all multiple different ways. I've stuck my finger in here like you've told me, or like I've showed you. I've poured it, drizzled it. I've applied it with a silicone epoxy or makeup brush like so. Each time it comes out the same, it dries the same, and it cures the same. So I honestly think this part is preference, and you just do it the way that you think works for you. And I'm sure you'll get the same result. I'm sure it will be beautiful, and I'm sure it will be it will come out great. So I'm just getting the bottom. Sometimes I have trouble with getting too much epoxy on the bottom, so I always take my gloved finger and I just wipe it off a little bit. I'm just making sure that it is all the way covered. Make sure you get from the top all the way to the bottom. So I'm taking my finger all the way to the top, or all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. Make sure you get that that epoxy spread on nice and even on the tumbler. And the reason why you spray paint the tumblers with matte spray paint is to make the epoxy stick more. So if you can tell, I don't know if the light will work. No, it's gonna wash it out. If you can tell, my tumbler isn't really spray painted that well, only because with this design, it doesn't need to have a thick, even spray paint. The spray paint purpose for this design is just to make the epoxy stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this just with a quick heat gun. I don't want this to swirl. I'm just gonna hit it with a quick heat gun just to get the little bubbles out. And if you notice, I went very, very quickly with the heat gun. You don't want to leave the heat gun on the tumbler too long, only because it will heat up the epoxy and it'll cause it to melt and it'll start dripping. So I'm gonna let this spin a little bit. Again, I'm using my 3 colors from Tim Holtz. These two are alcohol inks, and this one is alcohol pearl. They are 3 different colors. It's a pink color, a purple color, and a black color. And I will be posting a video next week on how to mix epoxy. I'm going to start from start to finish, how to mix epoxy properly, and to not make it bubbly or anything like that. Right? So for this design, I like a darker look. I do have one back there, but you'll see I like a darker looking Galaxy tumbler. So what I do is I apply the bright colors first, then the black. If you apply, sorry, I got like something on this tumbler. If you apply the dark color, the light colors first and the black colors, the black is going to take over the bright colors. Sorry guys. So you're gonna wanna apply the bright colors first. And like you see, you're gonna end up changing your gloves a lot of times during this process. So if you are just getting into tumblers, make sure you have a lot of gloves stocked. I know I personally change my gloves a lot. I've tried the finger protectors. I've tried these. So maybe if you try those, that might work better for you than gloves. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and we are going to apply the alcohol ink. And usually I have the turner rotating my way, but for video purposes, I'm gonna rotate it y'all's way. All right, so we're just gonna drip this on just like you would a regular alcohol ink tumbler. And don't forget the bottom. You're gonna put this everywhere. And it's gonna look like little cells in the beginning. I try to drip it on while it's like turning here, not kind of on the top. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I feel like it like falls better. I've seen people do it on top. Like I said, I don't know if it makes a difference. So if you see here, the purple, that's where I was picking at with the, what was on the tumbler, but it's okay because I scratched the epoxy. Oops, I scratched the epoxy off. So these are not meant to squirt like that, but sometimes they do. It was not a drip. There we go. So it looks like this one's a little, this one has a ball in here, so I'm going to shake this one a little bit. And you just want to let this tumbler do its thing. You just want to let it spin. These tumblers are so easy and they're so fun. I have this order for this color, but you can use green, blue. You don't have to use black over it. I just like the Galaxy look. All right. Apparently this one is jammed, but my customer wanted pink, purple, and then black Galaxy design. Okay. So I'm just filling in some blanks where I think needs to be filled. And like I said, you guys are going to see how this turns out, how the black takes over this tumbler, and is just gorgeous. I love this. Like I said, don't forget the bottom. Sometimes it comes out and like swirls on the bottom, but sometimes I just forget about the bottom, so until last minute. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the bottom, and then I try to fix it. So this is pretty covered, so I'm going to let that spin for a minute. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun very, very briefly, as you're going to see. It's not going to be a lot because then it's going to cause it to swirl. Okay, briefly. Now we're going to add the black and watch the magic happen. Just like, I'm very heavy-handed when it comes to these tumblers, as you can tell. I have no grace when it comes to it. Just getting the bottom here. And I'm gonna try to fill in the white spots here. Trying to. It's hard whenever it's going the opposite direction, but like I said, I'm trying to get this on camera for y'all. I like the tumbler more black, and the, like I said, the colors peeking through the black. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with a heat gun, and this is gonna move the colors around to get that black kind of separated there. And if y'all see, I was very heavy-handed with the black right there. So make sure you understand that a little bit goes a long ways when it comes to these alcohol inks. But even so, that's going to turn out beautiful. So even if you are heavy-handed like me, you'll see it just turns out great. And I'm just filling in the spots of the white, and as I'm filling in the spots, you can see that the tumbler design is it's kind of moving around. And there's a couple spots on the bottom here that I'm going to try to fill in. I'm just trying to get all the white away because when you look at Galaxy, there's hardly any white. And this is a good time if you want a little bit more color peeking through. You can add to it. So I don't hit this with heat too much, but I do give it a little bit of heat to kind of move it around some. So I don't think you can tell on camera, but the pearl, this pearl from Tim Holtz, it does give it kind of a shimmer. So I do like the shimmery look, and it has like a little tint of silver. It makes it look like silver, so that's why I add the silver glitter at the end here, and you will see that. I'm gonna get some more black on the bottom, and then I'll show y'all, I'll move the camera whenever it's done, and I'll show y'all the finished result. Now I want to fix that black blob right there. And to fix the blob, that I call it, just throw a little bit more alcohol ink on there. It's not going to ruin it. It's going to swirl and do its thing. How it looks now, it won't look this way in the end. So I'm going to hit it with the heat a little bit. Now, whenever you're working with alcohol inks and you hit it with the heat, if you are too close to the tumbler with the alcohol inks, whenever it is still wet, it separates the alcohol ink. So be mindful of that it will separate the alcohol inks. So make sure you're more farther away with that. So I'm just, this is when you watch all these tutorials and I'm like, put down the alcohol ink. And I'm like, just do it. And then I'm in the same boat. Like I said, I like mine more black with the bright colors peeking through. I'm like pushing the ink with my, by blowing it. So I'm gonna let this do its thing and not touch it. This is the hardest part. Do not touch the tumbler. But hit it with the heat a little bit, just briefly. And for this one, when the fish eyes are created, it's kind of cool. I like it. I don't mess with it. If you see, there's like a fish eye right there. Oops, that's a fish eye. A fish eye is whenever the epoxy doesn't sit and it separates. So I like it on these Galaxy ones. It's not that bad. So I don't mess with them. So as this is wet, let me go ahead and put these caps on. As this tumbler is wet with epoxy, you're gonna go ahead and place the glitter on. And the way that I do it is I literally throw it on the tumbler. So this is my Merlot from Glitter Heart Company. I put it in the cap like so. And I just pinch it and I just throw it anywhere I want on the tumbler. Not anywhere, I just throw it randomly on the tumbler, and this gives it, like, you know, in the Galaxy outer space, it's just like random, like stars in a line, and then there's like one random star here, and that's the kind of look I'm going for. I'm just throwing it on the tumbler. And this will get all your anger out. I'm just kidding. And then I'm gonna take my Mulberry, and sometimes I have other colors. So if it's like, the next one I'm doing is a blue and purple one. I'll use blue and purple glitter. And like by throwing it, don't overthink it, just throw it anywhere. Anywhere you see it needs thrown, it's gonna be beautiful. Sometimes there's like a patch of glitter somewhere, and you can never go wrong with glitter. Glitter is never ugly, so it is fine. So I just did the two pinks, and then I'm going to do a silver. And I don't think I use a purple for this one, but I'll use Sleepy Hollow from Glitter Heart Company. If you want more on there. And I'm just throwing it on there. I'm pinching it and throwing it. Just to get a little bit of pops. Some pops on the tumbler. And then you can sprinkle it from above. And however look you want to go for, if you want to go for the random throws of the glitter, I just got that glitter everywhere. If you want to go for the glitter randomly being thrown, then, you know, that's fine. If you want to sprinkle it from up high like so, then you can do that. So we all have different tastes, and I always say, I think I've said this before in my videos, tumbler making is art, and art is never ugly. So I'm sure all of your cups that you make, you're like, or not all of them, but like some of mine, I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is just, I gotta strip this cup. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful, I love it. So sometimes you might just be looking at it for too long. Okay, so this is a finished product. I'm going to move the camera a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how it looks so far. I'm going to turn my light on, and this is how it looks so far. Now, if you see up close, it's a lot cuter than far away. I'm going to turn my light off, just in case, depending on how you're viewing this. This is it spun, and like I said, don't forget the bottom. And I'm going to move my camera, or I'm turn my light on again to a different type of lighting. And look at the hollow. Do you see the hollow on there? It is so gorgeous. I love this tumbler, and you see how easy it was. Now to achieve this look again, you're going to add the bright colors first, and then you're going to add the black over it. If you wanted another look where you wanted the colors kind of evenly spread out, you're going to add the colors at the same time. So you're going to do purple, purple, pink, black, purple, purple, pink, black. If you want the black to be more subtle and then the pink popping, or the pink pink and purple on the outside, you're going to add the black first and the pink. But remember, black's darker than the pink and the purple, so it might clash a little bit, or it might not show through. So this is my finished result. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or any comments or any way that you might seem or might know to help me in this process, please let me know. I take all of the tips and all of the advice I can get, and I will answer every comment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.